It's not that difficult to make bad business deals. Ask NBA players who have gone to turn down contracts as big as $80 million and then fumbled the bag by choosing to opt for free agency and eventually landing contracts which were just a fraction of what they would have stood to make. So in this video, let's take a look at 5 such NBA players who are the definition of instant regret. Starting with number 5, we have Victor Oladipo. The two-time All-Star in 2018 and 2019 was playing for the Houston Rockets in 2021 when in February 2021, he made a major mistake that he would surely come to regret by turning down a 2-year, $45.2 million maximum contract extension offered by the Houston Rockets, which was, as reported by ESPN, the maximum they could have offered him per the rules of the CBA that time. And while he wanted a longer deal, he would have had to wait till the offseason for that, something he didn't do. Now, on the onset of the decision, here's what could have happened had he waited, as per reported by ESPN. After the season concludes, but before the start of free agency, Houston would be able to offer him as much as a 4-year, $113 million extension. Once free agency begins, Houston can offer up to 4 years for $151 million or 5 years for $195 million. Talk about taking the L in spectacular fashion. Oladipo fumbled the bag hard, as he was then traded to the Miami Heat for Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a 2022 draft pick swap, and he was signed by the Miami Heat on a 1-year veteran minimum deal, followed by then re-signing with them in 2022 for a 2-year, $18.2 million deal. Now that is greed gone wrong, in more ways than one, because despite the Miami Heat making the NBA Finals in 2023, Oladipo was sidelined with injury and didn't play with the team. Ouch! A classic case of what if unfolding right in front of us. Which quickly brings us to number 4, where we have Dennis Schroeder, the man who was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder and then traded to the then reigning champions LA Lakers on November 18th, 2020 for Danny Green and the draft rights to first-round pick Jaden McDaniels. And while Schroeder was under his contract signed during his Atlanta Hawk days, a 4-year, $70 million deal with $62 million guaranteed, he was supposed to be an unrestricted free agent in 2021, and in doing so, he rejected a staggering 4-year, $84 million deal from the Lakers to test free agency. Fortune didn't favor the bold in this case, as there were no takers for Schroeder, who was then left with no option but to sign a 1-year, $5.9 million taxpayer mid-level exception contract with the Boston Celtics, which slashed his contract to a fraction of what he could have made, and that was all she wrote. After bouncing around with the Celtics and the Houston Rockets, Schroeder re-signed a 1-year, $2.6 million deal with the Lakers and played an important part in their playoff run, which culminated in a 4-0 sweep in the conference finals against the Denver Nuggets. Quickly moving to number 3, we have DeMarcus Cousins, aka Boogie, a man who, despite being a consecutive 4-time All-Star, has failed to just live up to his potential in the league. Cousins was having a triple-double game for the Pelicans against the Rockets in January 2018 with a stat line of 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists when he injured his Achilles and had to undergo surgery. And matters got worse when, despite his surgery, he was offered a 2-year, $40 million extension by the Pelicans. Boogie rejected that offer and instead decided to listen to other offers, which never came. The result? He himself had to call up the Golden State Warriors organization and eventually ended up signing a 1-year mid-level exception for $5.3 million with the then reigning champions. But as fate would have it, the Golden State Warriors failed to repeat their championship success that season, and rightly so. Boogie himself said that it was very insulting to not receive an offer. Insulting indeed. Now, before we reveal our top 2, we would just love it if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel to join our growing community, and let us know in the comments section which NBA player from your favorite team do you hold guilty for fumbling the bag hard. And now, our top 2 starts with Nerlens Noel, and his is an interesting story which features a lot of drama in addition to fumbling the bag. How? Let's dive in. Noel was traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and the organization filed a $4.1 million tender to make him a restricted free agent, and it was heavily reported that they also offered him a 4-year, $70 million contract, which he, well, you guessed it, rejected in a bid to look at other pursuits and offers. He even signed with Rich Paul, the CEO of Clutch Sports, and the representative of big money stars like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And as per Dan Feldman of NBC Sports, the center market is saturated. Plus, teams wary of Dallas matching might not waste their time with an offer sheet, which carries a projected max of $109 million over 4 years or $27 million annually. The Mavericks, whose projected max offer is $146 million over 5 years, $29 million annually, might be able to work the market to pay Noel less than his max. Had Noel made a deal with the Mavericks, he'd have been rolling in some mega money, and instead, he later accused Rich Paul of costing him $58 million by filing a lawsuit against his own agent for making him turn down the the $70 million contract. Drama ahead. The lawsuit, however, was settled, but Noel had already been on the short end of the stick because, as per Insider, Noel proceeded to sign a 2-year, $3.7 million minimum deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2018. He opted out the next season, followed by a 1-year, $1.9 million contract with the Thunder the following year. Then Noel signed a 1-year, $5 million contract with the Knicks last season. A colossal loss earns him the number 2 spot on our list. And now, quickly at number 1, we have Joe Smith, the man who was infamously involved in a highly controversial bird rights scandal during his playing career, which cost him millions. Despite having respectable career earnings of $61 million via an NBA career of 16 seasons, Joe Smith had a good start in the NBA in his first 3 seasons with the Warriors, who had reportedly offered him an $80 million contract that he turned down. Bizarre as it was, things started to get even more shady when Joe Smith started signing terrible short-term deals. Reported by USA Today, he started signing 3 one-year deals for very little money, allowing the Timberwolves to acquire his bird rights, which would allow them to go over the salary cap to re-sign him. He would have been rewarded with a lucrative contract that would have paid him up to $86 million. Now, for the uninitiated, this is a highly illegal under-the-table practice, and it was caught by then-Commissioner David Stern and was perhaps one of the most scandalous stories of its time, while also landing Joe Smith on our list of top 5 NBA players who went broke. Check out our video by clicking here. And while acquiring his bird rights after 3 one-year deals, or 1 3-year deal that would have put him in a solid position, his next career moves just continued to tank his status, where he signed for very little money while going to play for 6 more franchises. Talk about a match made in hell. Which brings us to the end of this video. We hope you liked it, so smash that like button and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing community and for more such insightful NBA content. And let us know in the comments section which NBA player we may have missed on this list who fumbled the bag. See you in the next one.